Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the St. Mary's County Youth Advisory Commission meeting. It is April the 19th. It is currently 6:08 p.m. We will officially call this meeting to order, and at this time, I will turn it over to our chair, Mari.
All right, awesome. So for our minutes today, did we already get those approved?
So let's start with the roll call where we can go around and introduce ourselves, and then we can have a motion to approve those minutes. And yes, they were sent out in a previous email.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we actually have one of our adult members today. Lamont, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, how you guys doing today? My name is Lamont Lee, and actually I'm new to this, so you have to forgive me if I don't have too many words to add in at this moment, but I'm happy to be here and learn, and when the time is right, just add my thoughts to you guys' great ideas.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have Rebecca, and I think yeah. So for our minutes today, we're going to be
Rebecca,
talking
did you want
about
to introduce yourself to Mr. Lee? Because he's new.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Hi, Mr. Lee. I'm Rebecca Major. I've been on the committee for about a year now. It's been really good, and I hope you stay on for a while.
Yes, I look forward to doing that.
And Mari, maybe.
And just to ensure everyone's introduced themselves, I'm Mari, and I'm really excited to have you here on our commission. So.
And so now, since we've all introduced ourselves, and Mr. Lee, I'm sure we've have been corresponding back and forth, but I am Latay Reeves, and I am the staff support liaison for the YAC. So welcome, everyone.
Wonderful.
So at this time now, we can approve those minutes. Mari.
Yeah, I'm not getting in the mood right now.
Has everyone had a chance to view the minutes from last meeting? Okay. And so at this time, I will accept, or Mari can accept a motion to approve those minutes, and then we can have someone to second that motion.
Awesome. So since everyone's reviewed them, we can now motion to approve the minutes. Do I get a second?
And second for you.
Thank you, Rebecca. All right, awesome. So where we sort of left off last time was the presentation in which we're planning to give to the commissioners, where we're going to be discussing like our sort of innovative ideas on how we can improve the community and solve issues that our youth are facing. So I think we're going to review that. So I'm going to see if I can share. It seemed promising when I clicked it. So it's going to be. I think it's going pretty smoothly. Awesome. So here is the presentation. So I'm going to present. And you all should have access to this. So, and we also have a Jamboard to which we can discuss after this, and you can add your ideas and we can discuss ideas further and then, advise what's already here. This is just a draft, so. All right, so I sort of started off with the Youth Advisory Commission's journey. It was created in 2018, and then I sort of do a little summary, like a brief summary into its activism and the YMCA, which is still going through the research process right now, but and then I discuss a little bit into how COVID has sort of caused adverse challenges. And then I explain how we're going to be moving into a more dynamic form of the YSC. Sorry. All right, and then I discuss our previous accomplishments. So, and then I would go more into detail, sort of just talking points. I didn't really prep too much for this because I knew that this would be something we would definitely have to talk about and develop further. So this is really just the starts of this. And then these are some of the goals that I have for the future and that we have, but definitely need to talk about it. It would include for me education, and social justice, and then stimulating education within the social and environmental science field, because I think those are vital just to function properly in the systems that we have in this country. And then I go into developing programs in which we could sort of get our youth together and more connected with the community. So we have leadership programs, training to be a leader, and then volunteer programs, how we can give back to our communities and stimulate that. And then lastly, we have environmental engagement programs, because it's so vital that we start educating our youth and giving them the opportunities and the resources on how to recycle, on how to use reusables in their everyday, how to understand when soils become eroded and why. Just these basic concepts that are really vital and that will continue to be vital as our environmental impact worsens. But we hope that it won't worsen and that we'll be able to develop legislation and global agreements to resolve that. And then these are just the initiatives that I sort of began to come up with. So the Youth Global Green Advocators Organization, yeah, that's sort of a mouthful, of St. Mary's County, that's going to aim to globalize our youth and give them a more open-minded and culturalized perspective. So it would probably be a summer program in which they'd be able to learn and immerse themselves in culture. And then the choice program is something I've been working on since sophomore year, and it's a volunteer-based program. It's student-ran. It's something I'm really passionate about because it's within the school and it's sort of giving back to our community and working towards this goal to be better and to work to improve our community as a whole. And just accepting everyone for who they are. It's not something that's, you have to do this to get in. You have to apply and go and do this to get in. I feel especially teens now are faced with, we have to meet these certain quotas or requirements in order to be successful in the social systems in which we have in place in America. And it's something in which is going to take a lot of progression and thought and legislation and reform. and acceptance to actually resolve. But until then, it's more starting with education and starting with becoming open-minded and willing to understand. So our plan to achieve these goals and initiatives in 2021, I would like to add more to this, but I was just sort of discussing how we'd be working with the commissioners, trying to gain a stronger connection with them, and really being able to have that political connection and a good relationship with our commissioners, so it's easier to create these programs and to give the youth what they need to resolve these issues. And then I also was discussing a partnership with the educational system. So it would be probably summer education programs, volunteer programs for the summer, and also little internships that we do. That's something that would still need to be talked about, because then there's funding that needs to be allocated, and it's a whole mess with the internships that they're paid, which it should be paid, but that's a whole nother argument. So I believe that's all for now, but we can begin discussing, and you be honest with your opinion. So you can stop sharing.
Well, first, let me say, Mari, job well done. Job well done. Thank you so much for sharing all of that wonderful information. I'm very, very excited for the commission. I think that this is a great start to get the conversation moving with the St. Mary's County commissioners. I think it's something that they too will be excited about. And so I guess I want to open the floor now for any questions that either Becca or Mr. Lee that you may have for Mari, or any contributions of how you want to see the presentation become more robust, or omitting things, or adding different recommendations or suggestions. So I'll open the floor to you guys to have that discussion.
Okay. Like I said, I'm catching up, so excuse me if, like I said, it's just, I'm not, this is being presented to the commissioner as far as what we can do, to just, I'm a little lost, so I apologize on
No,
this.
you're
I
completely
really
fine.
am.
Yeah, let me know what's really, okay, so I guess let's start from the beginning. So we had a meeting maybe I would say it's about a month ago, and we were discussing how we could become more dynamic and go towards a certain goal and be more progressive as a commission. We have this huge power, and we're not really using it in a productive way at all. And it's sort of something that has to be tackled, or we will fail as a commission. It's just reality. So we started thinking and brainstorming, and we also had our previous adult members in which were sort of talking to us, sort of being a mentor to some of the youth members that were able to attend. And we came up with the concept of getting our commissioners more involved. So then I sort of went a little bit further and was and we also were, planning to have a meeting with them. But then I was thinking we should probably do a presentation to make sure it's more organized and that we already have our ideas, here, and we look like we're formally ready to make big strides in our community. We just need that opportunity. We need their support. So that's sort of where we're at right now.
Okay. All right. Now that I'm up to speed a little bit, I think that's the stuff that you is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And, it's when is this being presented to the committee? Excuse me.
So we have
Okay,
officially invited the commissioners on March the 26th. We sent out an invitation, and we are waiting for them to respond. And so as soon as they do, and I anticipate that it will be soon, so hopefully at this point, our invitation initially offered the option for them to attend this meeting, tonight's meeting, or our May 3rd meeting. So they will have the option to respond to that invitation. So we're hopeful that they'll be able to attend the May 3rd meeting, which is in 2 weeks. So if in the event that they're not able to make that meeting, then we can offer up another invitation for a later date. But that is the hope.
Oh, okay. So with our presentation, when is the deadline that we want everything in?
So technically, I made the deadline for like April 11th, and I guess the email was overlooked, and that's not a big deal. But we'll have to sort of revise that. That was just something I constructed that I thought would be most like, ideal, because we weren't really sure of when we would be having the meeting. Like, we weren't sure if it was going to be this meeting or the next one, but hopefully it'll be the next one. It's obviously not this one. So I will definitely figure that out. I don't know right now, though. You should have got an email in which has a link to the presentation I just sort of presented, and then also the Jamboard. And the Jamboard is really a discussion sort of like posting where you could discuss with fellow members and sort of connect with us, and we can give feedback, and then you can give feedback on our ideas, and it's sort of just finding a way to communicate despite being virtual. So
okay. Once again, I apologize again. I just started checking my email, so I'm up to par now, and I will be checking on a daily as just to make sure that I'm with you guys.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your commitment.
So Mari, it might be helpful if we can resend those links just so that it's at the top of everyone's inbox. So they have that at their disposal to add those varying contributions. I would say, although we're very hopeful that we get a response from the commissioners to attend the meeting within, our next meeting on May 3rd, it might be unlikely that they'll be able to attend that one. But what I would say is, let's just say by chance I get an email saying we're prepared to meet with you all on May 3rd, we probably need to establish a deadline to have this kind of buttoned up so that we're able to present for that May 3rd meeting. So would it be doable for you and Becca to have this, and Mr. Lee, as he's able to contribute by next week, say Monday or Tuesday of next week, to kind of have it all finalized? Is that something that seems doable for the group?
Yes, Tuesday. Yes.
Tuesday, okay. So let's set that date. What is Tuesday's date? Tuesday's date, it looks like that's the 27th. So let's establish April 27th as the deadline to have the presentation finalized, and then a final copy, Mari, if you don't mind sending that out to everyone, just so that everyone has it, so that we all can review it and be able to feel very comfortable with presenting that to the commissioners, whether they are ready to go on the 3rd or if they are going to ask to have an extension for that invitation. presentation. So either way, I think we need to have our loose ends tied, so whenever they respond, we're ready to go. And Becca, we don't want to overtalk you, dear. Did you have anything that you wanted to say about the presentation?
Not much. I thought that the beginning of it was really good. You contributed some really good ideas to it, and I have some more ideas to add on my own. So like once I get the link, I'll be sure to check it out, and then I'll add some more stuff. But yeah, it's really detailed, and there was something I was gonna ask about presenting it. I believe I keep it. Oh yeah, it was like how we're gonna keep these relationships with the other committees, like how like in the way that we're gonna try to have like these like partnerships with them. I was just wondering like how could we like kind of stimulate them? What certain activities could we do? Like could be throughout like volunteer programs. I was thinking we could set them up through those committees since they're probably bigger than ours. So I was thinking that would probably be a beneficial way to stimulate those partnerships and to get the word out about the YAC. And I really liked the choice program. I don't believe we have anything like that at Great Mills, but I would really love to do something like that. Like if there could be an extension for that, that would be really nice. So I might consider doing that. We're allowed to start a club. I would have to get a sponsor, but that's something I would definitely want to do, especially to raise stuff about this, because I feel like another important thing we need now is like recruiting and stuff. So I feel like the choice program is so work well with recruiting. And yeah, other than that, your ideas are really good. I really like them, and I'm gonna add more to them.
All right. Yeah, thank you. I did send the email again, so it should have everyone in it. I sent it so you make it like a long chain, but hopefully everyone sees it this time. And then also regarding what Brian said, yes, that was like my main goal, to get it throughout the educational system, but even in my school, it's still in an embryonic phase because of the whole COVID thing. And after AP testing, I'm going to get on that, and we're going to start, moving towards actually doing volunteer work and, student ran presentations on educating and, social justice. It's really, I think the idea is really good and it can be really effective in this community. And I'm hoping if it goes the way that I want it to go, it will end up in Leonardtown. It will end up in Great Mills. So,
yeah, I believe.
Sorry, I was going to say, when you said regarding the board, I think it's the school board, we could definitely talk to the student on that board. I have talked to her previously. I'm not really close with her. I think we went to like a meeting or something. But anyway, we could definitely talk to her, and she could bring it up at one of the meetings, and that's like a big deal. So try and contact her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was considering doing that. And yeah, even with it in like its embryonic stage, I feel like it's gonna blossom into like a really good program. And then I think while doing that, after like AP testing, I have the same thing. After that, I think we can start finding some like environmental volunteer programs to do, especially environmental. And then we can try to find something else, maybe work with like elderly homes or like daycares if we can find any. I know there's like a lot of parks. Like you highlighted like environmental problems, like volunteer programs as well. And I think because I know a lot of them are also involved with the school system, so it might not be that difficult to find something like at Elms Environmental Education Center. We could probably find something to do there, or at like any of the state parks, maybe Park Workout. If that, because I know they always have stuff going on throughout the summer, so that's something we could look into as well. But I'll be sure to talk to the person you mentioned. I'm gonna see if I can talk to them. Definitely. Yeah.
Right. I think like a big thing with like a program that's gonna be fully immersed in the community, you have to have those community connections. And I started making those kind of connections like last year. Just, after COVID, they were like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be too hard to do this. We can't do volunteer, virtual. Like, what are we going to be able to do, really? But, yeah, definitely going towards community connections to even, stimulate the program, which is like a big deal. So, yeah, I definitely can do like communications and, contacting people and seeing how they feel about it and where we could fit into the work, or maybe even finding other work in which is needed, but there's no organization, there's no program from the government, from the local government that's really doing anything to aid it, which is like really important. So I think programs like this will create creativity and innovation within our youth. And even like regardless of the program, like this new generation, like so innovative and so creative on its own that it's like we're nurturing it, because it's just really profound to me, like how much I know we can do, especially united and working towards the same goals.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like with this program especially, we could really send a message. And I thought the same thing. It felt kind of weird that they didn't really have some kind of program like this, or is like any kind of like government regulated program like these that you're talking about. I really is the foundation of like the future of children, and what, like, where they want to go, what they want to do in life, and how they can help their community and to better themselves as well. And I think I agree with you. This whole generation, it can do a lot, and I think where we're starting right now is really good. And I'm glad we have these ideas and we're able to talk about it. And I have high hopes for this. I feel like the programs I come up with, the programs that we're going to try to initiate throughout the year, I feel like this is a really big stepping stone for us. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and something also to add, since we're on the topic of like how the program could be, like we have sort of this system in which it would be like we have our general members. It can be anyone. Like anyone's allowed to volunteer if there's a spot, like in our events, So there's no seclusion, none of that. And then we have like, more involved members, and then like our board members. And that's when like the board members are there to ensure that the program is maintained and, high quality, as well as like, having those leadership roles and gaining from them, like being trained as a leader. I think that's one of the main reasons I put the board. I was like, a lot of people need to have that leadership to contribute in society when they leave high school. And that's why like the commission like this, and I mean, we have leadership roles and we're still in high school and we're learning, we're being trained essentially to have our voice heard. And it's like, this needs to be something that's more open, more accessible, and it's not limited to one sector of society or the other. Like you can hear about it throughout the community because it's open, it's accessible, and it's free.
I for sure agree with that. Like, I feel like our most definite way is through like the educational system, especially to reach the youth. I feel like through social media we could try to utilize that a little more as well. Like, we could try to start. I was thinking about starting some kind of social media pages for YAC. I feel like that would spread the message a lot. I just send it to friends and stuff, and then throughout school newsletters and whatnot. And if anyone is interested, they can come to me at my school at least. But yeah, I feel like that making it more accessible is really important, not just to like. So the way I heard about the program myself was through a board board member on here when I did another program that was through her. So I feel like it should be, it was a nice way to know about it. And I'm thankful for that, but I feel like it should be more accessible. I feel like social media would be the best way. Social media, school, whatever is going on through school, like newsletter and stuff. I feel like we should try to work on that as well. I feel like we could include that in the presentation as well, just to like see how we're going to spread our message throughout the community to the commissioners as well. That would help.
Yeah, sure. That's actually a really good idea to add to that last slide that I was like, yeah, our plan to achieve these goals and initiatives. Yeah. So like public advocacy through social media. And I also wanted to add, I do have a choice program Instagram. It just has nothing on it because we had pictures that we took last year with some of the volunteers, but I made it after we did those and it just felt weird like posting. I don't know. But yeah, so we'll definitely work on that. And as we become more dynamic and we, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. But once we get more vaccines out and we get herd immunity, we're going to be able to do more hybrid work and, be able to contribute a little bit more. Like, so my sponsor at my school, she's totally committed. She's like wholeheartedly like awesome person, and she's committed to doing like a summer sort of thing with me. So I'm really excited for that. That's when we're going to really be able to, shoot off and, make actual improvements and, educate. So.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm glad you have someone at your school that can help you with that. I know that through that, it will definitely spread the message around to the other schools, so that'll be really nice. And then speaking on social media, I was thinking the same thing because I know that we haven't been as active in person because of the pandemic and stuff. I feel like I don't know about this. I should follow it, but. I can help if you need. I'm not that good at graphic design. I like to use like Canva if you want to just like kind of like get a general ad out there about us, like what we try to do, and if we can, whenever we're having our next recruiting period, we can post something about that too. And just really boost it, I feel like Instagram is a good place to start, and then maybe Facebook as well if we want to try to reach some more adult members if we need to. But yeah, that would also be very nice to let's start off like the new school year, especially. I feel like that's when we will get our most recruits, so we can probably plan something for that as well.
Yeah, I think the main objective for me, I told because I have a sponsor and then I have a co-sponsor, and we're going to try and get more user involvement, which is also, so I could do a whole presentation on choice, like just my ideas on that, if you guys want that. I don't know if you guys want to, but anyway, so what I was going to say is that I had this all started in getting the teachers sort of involved, and they were, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
Something about it was like your program was the fact that you had sponsors that were really willing to help you throughout like the summer, like getting it started throughout the summer. And then I think you were like you're talking about like teachers. I think. Yeah,
I can't remember what I was going to say, but it was going to develop on that. I'm sorry, I'm running on 0. I was working on AP work last night until like 6. But anyway, we're just not going to develop further on that. But anyway, so we can definitely work on the choice program further, but I think definitely getting this program out of the way it's going to be the first step for sure.
Definitely. And if you need help with that, I'm sure I could probably do something. I know I work during the summer off days. I could probably be available to that. So yeah, if you need me, you can just email me that. I can help you with whatever, because I really want to get this thing like started, and then we can spread it through schools that we really just.
Yeah, and it's really. Oh, I know what I was going to say now. I'm trying to really get this started before I leave high school, because I'm going in my senior year, and like my co-sponsor and then my sponsor, they're both really committed to ensuring that it's going to stay really dynamic and productive when I leave. And there's going to be like another president, there's going to be another vice president, another chair, another secretary, and then still advocating for bettering the community and bettering students' perspective. So definitely that's what I was trying to move towards. So I think with the help of you and just advocating for it through the commission, we can definitely actually make this happen. There's been so many times I just wanted to give up, and I was like, no, I can't give up on this. This is a really great idea.
Yeah, I have really high hopes for this. I feel like this is something that we really need in the community. So yeah, if you anything you need, I can help. So yeah, and it would be nice because if you could do it before you left. I mean, it would be, if you did it before you left, it would be a nice stepping stone for anyone, a nice beginning for any new members. Or if we reach other schools, we could take over from your ideas and then just continue growing with it. That's what I would really love to happen. Because I think I'm younger than you, so even if you did left, I'd still be here. So I could try to move forward with it, get it even bigger, more into the community. But yeah, thank you for not giving up, because this is a really nice idea. But yeah, I feel like we can do this. It's a really good idea. I like this.
All right. So I think we've definitely talked about that to a high degree. So let's see what else. So we also have our elections for our officers. Rebecca, were you able to think about what you wanted to do there? How you wanted to contribute, and did you look at the positions? If not, I can name them for you.
No, I didn't get to take a look at that yet. But if you can name the positions, I'm going to take a look.
Okay, so it's in the minutes. So we have our vice chair and then our secretary. I think those were the main objectives. And I think there's also isn't there a treasury position as well? But that would be if we had another youth member. Or are adults allowed to offer this? I'm not really sure. Can you please let me know?
I believe the different offices are held by the youth members, so it would be comprised of you all with those respective offices. So right now we have Mari as the chair, and so we would need a vice chair and a secretary. So do either of those appeal to you, Becca, or do you want to have a bit more time to think about it?
Vice chair sounds really interesting. What does that entail?
So pretty much it would be you and Mari collaborating on a lot of the initiatives that the YAC would yes, I thought that would excite you, but you guys would partner on those respective initiatives and really collaborating on communications and how you guys want to present that to the community, inviting or recruiting members for the YAC, as well as for the different initiatives as far as volunteers and things of that nature. So it seems to me like that is a pair made in heaven between the two of you all. You guys have had a great discussion tonight and really have utilized one another as resources to really expound on the different initiatives that you guys are so passionate about. It seems like the two of you share a lot of the same passions and a lot of the same visions as to what you want to see St. Mary's County look like, and how you envision the youth of this community really contributing to those different projects and things that you guys have talked about. So as far as I am concerned, I would say that that would be a great partnership between the two of you all as chair and vice chair. You guys have great leadership qualities that I think can be impactful for those who would come on as youth members for the YAC. I think that you guys have a very loud voice in terms of not being afraid to speak up on what matters to you all, and not taking it on as your own motive, so to speak, but really speaking for the whole of the group. So I think that if that is something that you are interested in, I don't want to pressure you, but I feel like the two of you would work well together. So that's pretty much what you would do.
It's very intriguing, and I would love to do it. Like, being partners, it would be really nice. I feel like that would really benefit AC. So I'd be very happy to take on that position.
Okay, very well then. Well, then I will, so we should have a motion to accept or elect Becca as the chair. So did you want to move that motion, Mari? Would you like to motion to accept her as co-chair or vice chair of the YAC?
Of course. So I motion to accept Rebecca to be the vice chair. Do I get a second? Oh wait, we're voting anyway. Never mind.
So, Mr. Lee, I think you can second that if you are in agreement to that.
Yes, I accept. Like you said, this was awesome. Just listening to them just work together. It's like they've been doing this for a long time. So I'm on board.
All right, excellent. Well, I think this is these are the makings for a bright future for the YAC. I am really, really proud of both of you all. I have not known you that long, but I am just in awe of the two of you all. Very bright, very strong young ladies, and I think that you guys will be by far a solid foundation by which lots of great things on behalf of the YAC will be built. So great job to both of you all. I'm very, very excited to what next steps look like. We don't have anything else. We don't have any new business on our agenda. So before we adjourn, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page as to our deadline for the presentation. And so we all agreed that that would be wrapped up on Tuesday, April the 27th, just so that we can be prepared for the St. Mary's commissioners to join us on the 3rd, if in fact they are available. If not, then we can certainly anticipate them joining us at a later date, which would give us more time in case there are some last minute things that you want to add, but we definitely want to have it tightened up by that date so that we're ready to go on the 3rd. And so if there's nothing else, then we can have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. Whoever wants to make that initiative there.
All right, and I just wanted to make sure we get this figured out, because it will be a little bit difficult to communicate, especially if not everyone's using the Jamboard, or if not everyone's on the Jamboard at the same time. So would you guys like to present anything, or do you want me to present it? It's totally up to you guys. I am fine with presenting it. I usually would do notes and make sure I'm really, formal within my speech, rather than, just winging it like I did. So yeah, just let me know, but let's try and figure that out now, so I'm not over prepping.
So I think perhaps if you have, I don't know how many slides are a part of the presentation currently?
So currently there is 6. And I might add some like pictures, and we can add like obviously other slides
Okay.
if we're gonna add stuff.
And so of
Maybe
the,
like a prototype of like what our volunteer initiatives could look like within a program. I thought about doing that.
okay, excellent. Okay. So I would say perhaps maybe there can be an even distribution between the two of you all. So if you have 6 slides, then, you take 3, Becca takes 3, that you feel most comfortable with presenting and that you're most knowledgeable about, so that there's a nice flow. And maybe, you guys at some point even being able to exchange phone numbers. So on your off time, when we're not together in this format, that you guys can kind of walk through it and present it together in your off time, so that when it's time to present before the commissioners, you guys are prepared. So perhaps, that could be a viable approach to
Right.
streamlining everything.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a good idea. I will email you, Rebecca, my phone number. And also, this is something I sort of wanted to mention real quick. I have some ideas for like legislation I'd like to like sort of talk about, but it's something sort of touchy, and it would be local legislation, and then it's like, and the local government anyway, it's really more of like allocation of funds in which were like given to the state, so it's more like state legislation. I don't know, but I sort of have some like ideas. Should I I'll just add it to the jam board. When in doubt, add it to the jam board.
So maybe what you can do, if you're uncertain, is perhaps send me what you are proposing before we integrate that into the presentation. And I will review it and get any necessary feedbacks from our various stakeholders in their respective places, and kind of get some advice as to how we should approach that. And so, if you want to send me what your thoughts are, and feel free to copy everyone, send it to the group, and so that everyone can weigh in, and then we can go from there as to how we're going to put our best foot forward in including it in the presentation, if it's appropriate for it to be within that, or if it needs to be a separate conversation,
Right. I was thinking, could you imagine how cool it would be to create legislation that is like tackling youth issues in a logical way, created by students, like teenagers? It sounds almost like crazy, but I feel like that would be so cool. Like, it's such a good idea, but it could also be bad if we're not educated enough. But it's something to think about, and I will email you some of my ideas.
And I think just as simple, just in that format, how you just explained that, I don't think that would be inappropriate to put into some of the things that the YAC wants to contribute on. So I think wording it just that way, maybe not going, and perhaps giving a few examples, but maybe not going too deep into those examples, just so that the commissioners have an idea like, wow, these young people are really, really thoughtful, and here are some of the things that they want to be at the table for. I think that's totally fine. Now, if there are specifics that are involving certain circumstances or certain individuals, we probably want to omit that, but then that's something that we can probably discuss as a group off record, and then find a viable way and a more appropriate way to present that to the respective stakeholders who can take your vision and put some motion to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
We will
Totally
definitely talk
understood.
about.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lee?
I said totally understood.
Okay.
All right, so I guess is everyone good to adjourn? All right, I motion to adjourn. Do I get a second?
I can second.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, everyone who came tonight. Yeah.
Thanks, Mari. Thanks, Becca. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Mari, I just want